My friends, within you lies a vast treasure chest, locked not by chains of steel, but by the invisible barriers of your unconscious mind. It is there, beneath the surface of thought, where your hidden patterns, beliefs, and silent agreements with life are stored. This unseen realm holds both the power to keep you in limitation and the power to release you into abundance. When you awaken this part of yourself, success and wealth no longer feel like strangers. They flow to you as naturally as the river finds its way to the sea. The unconscious mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seeds you plant, whether of fear or of faith, of lack or of plenty, will grow with unstoppable certainty. If you are not living in prosperity, it is not because the soil is barren, but because the wrong seeds have been planted and watered with thought, word, and emotion. The key is to awaken, to recognize, and to sow consciously, for life always mirrors what is rooted within. Awakening does not come through force, it comes through awareness. It begins with the realization that success is not something outside you to be chased, but something within you to be claimed. Wealth is not luck or accident. It is alignment with the inner law that says, as within, so without. When your unconscious mind believes in plenty, the world must reflect it. When your unconscious mind is trained to expect doors to open, doors cannot remain closed. There is a higher order that governs all things, a divine law of harmony and supply. To live in poverty, defeat, or struggle is to live in unconscious resistance to that law. But the moment you awaken the sleeping part of your mind, you remove the resistance and allow life to give you what was already waiting. Success is not created, it is revealed. Wealth is not built, it is unlocked. So I urge you, awaken the dreamer within, and you will discover that the unconscious mind is not your enemy, but your greatest ally. For when it is filled with faith, expectancy, and courage, it becomes a magnet to every opportunity, every resource, and every door that leads to your destiny. The unconscious mind is like a hidden treasury buried beneath the surface of ordinary thought, holding secrets far greater than most people ever realize. It is the storehouse of every impression, every word, every belief you have ever accepted as true. Many live their lives unaware that the conditions they see on the outside are merely reflections of what lies deep within. This inner treasury does not judge or question, it simply accepts and reproduces what has been placed within it. If fear, doubt, and limitation are deposited there, life will continue to echo those conditions in endless cycles. Yet when faith, abundance, and expectancy are sown, this inner chamber unlocks doors to opportunities and wealth that seemed impossible before. This unseen mind governs more of life than the conscious intellect could ever manage. The conscious mind makes choices, but the unconscious carries them out with precision, shaping circumstances and drawing people, events, and resources according to its programming. It does not sleep. It works day and night, silently creating the script upon which your destiny unfolds. Many who wonder why success always escapes them fail to see that their unconscious mind has been programmed with thoughts of lack, unworthiness, or struggle. They live in a world of limitation not because opportunity is absent, but because their inner treasury has been filled with the wrong currency. Imagine, instead, if you began to deposit words of power, images of victory, and thoughts of limitless supply into this treasury. The unconscious would receive them, nurture them, and express them outwardly with the same faithfulness it has given to your doubts. Just as a seed buried in the earth cannot resist sprouting, the seeds placed within your unconscious cannot resist bearing fruit. This is why wealth, health, and happiness are not reserved for a chosen few, but for those who have learned to govern their inner storehouse. The unconscious mind does not operate in fragments or half measures, it gives back in full the quality of whatever it is fed. Speak words of success, and it must construct conditions that match success. Harbor visions of abundance, and it must open the pathways for abundance to manifest. Like a hidden river flowing beneath the ground, it carries unseen currents that eventually break forth on the surface as events, circumstances, and opportunities. Those who awaken to this truth stop chasing after success with anxiety. Instead, they shape it within and let it come forth without resistance. This inner treasury is not bound by time or limitation. It can create channels where none seem to exist, bring connections you never expected, and inspire ideas that appear as sudden flashes of intuition. When you begin to treat it as the most valuable possession you own, you will guard what you deposit there with great care. Every thought, every spoken word, every feeling becomes a deposit slip written to the great bank of the unconscious, and life faithfully pays out exactly what has been written. Life is always a reflection of the hidden soil of the mind. Just as a garden cannot yield roses if thorns are planted, existence cannot yield prosperity if thoughts of lack and fear are rooted within. Every circumstance, every encounter, Every door that opens or closes is a mirror of what has been silently cultivated in the unseen fields of the inner world. Many look at life and believe they are victims of chance. Yet what they see before them is nothing more than the flowering of seeds they themselves have allowed to grow. The soil never questions the seed, it only brings forth after its kind. If worry and doubt are planted, life mirrors back endless reasons to worry. If faith and expectancy are sown, life mirrors back opportunities, blessings, and wealth. The power of this inner soil lies in its absolute obedience. It does not choose for you, it only reproduces faithfully whatever you have chosen, often unconsciously. If the inner ground has been neglected, weeds of fear and limitation spring up uninvited, choking the growth of every noble dream. But when tended with care, when words of truth and visions of abundance are sown daily, the soil transforms into a garden of flourishing success. The outer world bends to the law of this inner planting, for nothing can resist the command of a seed once accepted by the ground. This explains why two people may live in the same conditions, face the same challenges, and yet walk entirely different paths. One sees only obstacles and remains stuck in struggle, while the other sees opportunities and rises to wealth and freedom. The difference does not lie in the outer world, but in the invisible soil of the mind. One has sown seeds of despair, the other has sown seeds of possibility. Life, impartial and exact, mirrors both with perfect fairness. The soil of the inner world is infinitely fertile. It does not limit how much you may plant or how great your harvest may be. The only limit is the kind of seed you dare to place within it. If you dare to sow thoughts of great success, boundless wealth, radiant health, and unshakable faith, then the soil has no choice but to bring them forth in time. Patience is required, for just as no gardener digs up the seed the day after planting, you must trust the silent process at work. Beneath the surface, the unseen is already arranging, preparing, and aligning circumstances to reflect the harvest of your inner planting. Those who awaken to this truth no longer curse their lives as unfair, nor do they envy the success of others. Instead, they recognize the mirror before them and begin to change what lies within. The soil never fails. The mirror never lies. What you nurture inside must appear outside, and the garden of life will always reveal the care or neglect of the one who tends it. Awakening is not a sudden strike of lightning from the heavens, but the quiet dawning of awareness that begins within. It is the moment you realize that the power shaping your life has always been closer than your own breath. Awareness is the light that exposes the hidden patterns of thought that have silently ruled for years. Until awareness comes, the unconscious repeats the same stories over and over, creating the same circumstances, leaving a person feeling trapped by fate. But once the mind awakens, the cycle breaks. Awareness reveals that every thought is a choice, every word a command, and every emotion a seed planted in the fertile ground of the unseen. When awareness opens the eyes, the chase for success outside begins to fade. You no longer run after opportunities in desperation, for you understand that life is only echoing back what is alive within you. Instead of pleading for change in the world, you begin to change the inner picture, knowing that the outer must follow. Awakening shifts the question from, why does this always happen to me? To, what within me is creating this? That single shift holds the power to transform struggle into strength and defeat into victory. Awareness is not mere knowledge of principles, it is living recognition. A person may read 1,000 words about abundance and still walk in lack if awareness has not taken root. True awakening comes when the heart knows, without doubt, that the inner state commands the outer. It is the quiet certainty that wealth, love, and success are not accidents but the natural reflection of what one continually holds in consciousness. Awareness does not beg, it claims. It does not fear, it trusts the law of life to work with perfect order. In this awakened state, the smallest thought is treated with reverence. You guard your words, for you know they are not idle but creative forces shaping unseen substance. You watch your inner dialogue, for you know it writes the script that life will later play out. Awareness gives you the power to stop planting weeds of fear and instead sow seeds of confidence, vision, and faith. Even when results are not immediate, you do not waver, for you understand the silent process at work. Awareness turns patience into power, because you no longer doubt that the harvest will appear in its perfect season. Awakening is the birth of responsibility. It removes the illusion that others control your destiny and returns the authority to your own mind. No matter what has gone before, awareness opens the door to new beginnings. It shows that the present moment is always fertile, always ready to receive a new seed, always waiting to mirror back the truth you now choose to accept. Wealth is not a matter of chance, nor is it bestowed only upon the fortunate few. It is the natural result of alignment with the unseen laws that govern life. Many call it luck when someone prospers, but luck is only a name given by those who have not yet understood the silent order behind abundance. When thought, belief, and action come into harmony with the principle of supply, wealth flows without resistance. It is not random, and it does not depend on outside conditions. It depends on the inner state of consciousness. Alignment begins when you release the idea that prosperity is outside of you, waiting to be earned by endless struggle. Instead, you recognize that wealth already exists in infinite supply, waiting to express itself through you. The river does not beg the ocean for more water. It simply flows in the direction of its source. In the same way, when the mind flows in harmony with the law of abundance, the current of supply cannot help but carry opportunities, ideas, and resources into your path. Those who rely on luck live as gamblers of life, hoping fortune may turn their way, yet never understanding why doors remain closed. But those who understand alignment do not wait for chance. They align their thoughts with plenty, their words with certainty, and their emotions with expectancy. They know the law of life cannot be broken, and that every inner state will eventually be mirrored in outer form. When the unconscious mind is filled with harmony, gratitude, and faith, the outer world must respond with wealth, for it has no choice. This alignment is not achieved by frantic effort or desperate wishing. It is achieved by quiet consistency, by shaping the inner picture until it becomes more real to you than the absence of it in the outer world. Each time you affirm abundance, each time you choose gratitude over complaint, each time you see possibility where others see limitation, you bring yourself into greater alignment. Gradually, the scattered forces within are gathered into one clear vibration, and the law responds with precision. True wealth is not the hoarding of money, but the steady flow of supply that meets every need and opens the door to freedom. When you are aligned, money becomes a servant rather than a master, a tool through which ideas are built and life is expressed fully. You cease to envy others or to fear loss, because you know that the source of wealth is not a job, a market, or a person, but the infinite substance of life itself. And once you are in harmony with that source, the outer channels must appear. This is why wealth belongs to those who align, not to those who wait for chance. It is the certainty that the law of supply is exact, unfailing, and impartial. When you are tuned to its frequency, you cannot be left in lack, for alignment itself is the true foundation of prosperity. Success is not something you chase down or manufacture through sheer force. It is something that is revealed when the barriers within are removed. The world teaches that success must be built brick by brick, through endless toil, comparison, and competition. Yet beneath all this striving lies a truth often overlooked. The essence of success already exists within. Just as the sun does not need to be created but only unveiled from behind the clouds, success is uncovered when the fog of fear, doubt, and limitation is lifted from the mind. Every person carries within them a divine pattern, a blueprint of potential that holds the outline of their greatest achievements. It does not need to be invented, it needs to be recognized. Failure and struggle often arise not because the pattern is absent, but because it has been buried under beliefs of unworthiness, habits of defeat, and the illusion that success comes only from the outside world. The moment one begins to clear away these inner obstructions, the hidden design starts to shine forth, and opportunities, connections, and ideas flow as naturally as light breaking through the dawn. This is why some people, once awakened, rise with astonishing speed. They have not suddenly become capable. Rather, they have uncovered what was always there. Success, in its true sense, is the natural state of a life aligned with its inner pattern. It is not forced or manufactured, it is allowed. The river does not create its path by effort, it simply flows in the direction it was designed to move. In the same way, each individual has a current within, and when they stop resisting it with fear and self-doubt, success unfolds almost effortlessly. Revealing success requires trust in this inner law. It means letting go of the belief that everything must be earned through relentless struggle. True work is not in fighting circumstances, but in clearing the inner soil where the seeds of success are already planted. With awareness, one stops pushing against life and begins to cooperate with it. Doors open where there seem to be walls, and answers arrive where there was only confusion. Success is revealed because the inner alignment makes it impossible for the outer world not to reflect it. This is not to say that action is unnecessary, but action becomes guided, inspired, and multiplied when it flows from an inner certainty. Effort is no longer wasted in random directions. It is channeled with precision, powered by the belief that success is already within reach. Each step becomes lighter because it is not an act of desperate creation, but an act of unveiling what has been present all along. When one understands that success is revealed, not created, life shifts from struggle to trust. The search outside ends, and the work turns inward, where the true treasure has always been waiting. The vision becomes clear, the path straightens, and what once seemed distant begins to appear, not as a new creation, but as the unveiling of destiny. The awakened mind is a living magnet, drawing to itself the exact conditions, people, and opportunities that mirror its inner state. Just as iron filings rush to align with the pull of a magnetic field, so does life rush to arrange itself around the vibration of awakened thought. This is not chance, nor is it coincidence. It is the precise law by which the unseen becomes seen. When the mind is asleep, clouded by fear, self-doubt, or resentment, it still attracts, but it attracts confusion, delay, and closed doors. The moment it awakens, filled with clarity, faith, and expectancy, the field of attraction changes, and the outer world must respond in kind. An awakened mind does not strain to pull opportunities closer. It simply holds the inner certainty that what belongs to it cannot be withheld. This certainty radiates as a silent command, a frequency felt in both seen and unseen ways. Ideas are quickened, intuition sharpens, and people who carry the answers or resources you need are drawn into your path. What seemed like coincidence becomes the natural rhythm of life, responding to the power of inner alignment. The awakened mind does not chase but attracts, it does not beg but expects. This magnetic power is not limited by distance, time, or circumstance. It reaches beyond what the eyes can see and arranges connections that no human effort could have orchestrated. The awakened mind understands that every thought is a signal sent out into the universe, and every belief is a current shaping unseen forces. When those signals are saturated with confidence and gratitude, life bends to accommodate them. Prosperity, health, and joy are not pulled in through desperate struggle, but are drawn in with effortless grace. The magnetism of an awakened mind also repels what no longer belongs. Just as a magnet draws certain metals and ignores others, an awakened consciousness attracts harmony, while naturally rejecting discord. Situations, people, and opportunities that are not aligned with your highest good quietly fall away. What remains and what comes are those things that resonate with the vibration you hold within. This is why awakening brings such peace. You no longer fear loss, for what is lost was never meant to remain, and what arrives cannot pass you by. This magnetic pull grows stronger the more consistent the mind becomes. Every moment of doubt weakens the field, but every affirmation of truth strengthens it. Over time, the awakened mind becomes unshakable, radiating an energy that transforms not only personal circumstances but also influences the environment around it. Others feel the pull, doors open without effort, and the path ahead clears in ways that seem miraculous to the untrained eye. Yet to the awakened, it is no miracle at all. It is simply the law of attraction, working faithfully, as it always has, in response to the magnet of the mind.